Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had an amazing Thursday and a great week so far. Today we're going to be diving into Cardano, and I think this is a very important video to be delivering, certainly at the moment with sentiment being the way that it is. I'm going to be telling you exactly why it is, or certainly some of the reasons why I'm hanging on to my Cardano, why in the face of adversity, I'm not panic selling, I'm not jumping ship, if you will. I am hanging on and in fact accumulating as much as I can throughout this period, because I believe Cardano has got an extremely bright future. And I'm going to share some of those reasons why with you in this video. We're going to take a look at a Twitter thread that very accurately sums up everything that's sort of happened in the past 12 months. We're going to look at some of the amazing partnerships that Cardano has entered. We're going to look at the social metrics, the on-chain metrics, you name it, we're going to look at it. We're also going to be hearing from Charles towards the end of the video, really confirm this and reinstate that everything looks good from a blockchain point of view. The only thing that doesn't look good right now is the price. And we're going to talk about that as well, because many people have this kind of notion that you shouldn't talk about price. You know, it's not important. It absolutely is important. The price is, I'm not one of these individuals that think that price shouldn't be talked about. I think if it wasn't for the price, cryptocurrency wouldn't be where it was today. I mean, if you think about the whole proposition with investing in Bitcoin, it's price driven. It's not that you're necessarily using it. It's all to do with the price. The price is extremely important. These blockchains wouldn't be where they were today if it wasn't for that. They certainly wouldn't be billion-dollar assets. So it is exceptionally important. And price absolutely does matter. But what also really matters is what will drive the price, and that is fundamentals. You know, something may be a pump and dump and do very well, but if there's nothing to actually drive that price and see long-term usage in that asset, price will subside. And I don't think Cardano is on that path. I think Cardano is on a path that we're going to talk about, because we've already seen extreme growth. It's going to continue to do that, and it's implementing itself in the world in a real way. And the price action is very boring at the moment. You know, this meme very accurately sums up what's currently taking place in the crypto space. You've got Bitcoin here. You know, when it decides to open the trunk, everything kind of falls back, and it is that tide that rises and sinks all ships. We have been telling you that after a kind of slam down like this wick was very positive, but it's very normal that you'll set up structure here and you'll kind of consolidate. Because we didn't see that kind of snapback rally. You will typically see that within a couple of days. So it's always very important when you have a kind of severe sell-off like we saw, to sit on your hands and kind of wait to see what direction the market is taking. And I think we're going to see a lot of consolidation. We live in a very strange time, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get into this. What we're going to do is essentially look at one of these Twitter feeds. I posted it or retweeted it yesterday. I think I saw it on ADA. He had initially posted it. Prices have slumped, but FUD is at all-time high. Lots of people scared. Here's why I'm still bullish on Cardano/ADA. News for some, an important reminder for others. Thread below, and it's from, I'll actually jump over to his Twitter, SOBIZR. It's the first time I found this guy's channel, but this thread I think is going to really remind you guys of what's going on, and it's certainly some, not all, of the reasons why I hang on to my Cardano, and I'm happy to hold and accumulate during this time period, because I think there's a very bright future ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, and the price just simply does not reflect that. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. But markets are very stagnant, very boring, very low volume. I am expecting an uptick. The world is very uncertain at the moment. We have been giving daily cryptocurrency updates where we not only cover the cryptocurrency world, but we cover the traditional financial realm. We cover global events, and we kind of add it all together, because it's very important as investors for you guys to pay attention to this, because they are correlated. Certainly with what's going on at the moment, there is a lot of uncertainty being thrown around, and we're seeing that in all markets. Traditional markets actually sold off today. Not significantly, but you know, this absolutely has an impact on a more speculative play, which is crypto. So we have a lot to go through. Let's start with this thread. Let's take a look at markets. They're pretty down today. We're not really doing much. We're just sort of consolidating in a range. Let's get into this thread. This was a brilliant thread. By all means, go and check this guy out on Twitter. I only started following him yesterday after Ada Whale kind of retweeted it, but this is a fantastic thread, and it really sums up a lot of what's been going on, a lot of what many of you should be paying attention to. Price is absolutely important, but what drives the price? And we are in a bull market still, I believe, and price is going to be driven through speculation associated with that. But in the long run, and even in the short run, this stuff matters. So partnerships galore is the first part of the thread. Over the coming months, millions of real users will be onboarded onto Cardano, the fruits of the year of careful planning. From governments, ministers of education, Ethiopia and Georgia, and he goes on to show you some of the headlines. IOHK partnered with Ethiopian government to revamp educational system. This is just one real world use case of people using blockchain. Blockchain isn't used particularly. If you look at the world as a population, it's a percent of 1% that actually use blockchain. The majority of people, it's a very small percent of the world's population that actually hold it. It's a significantly smaller percentage that actually use it. And one thing that I love about Cardano, I think Africa is one of the most strategic partnerships. Over $7 trillion of untapped wealth in Africa. It's going to take a while to get there, but if it succeeds, you're going to see countries within Africa actually run on top of Cardano. And this is really what blockchain was all about, the decentralization and the breaking up of corruption within governments. So we know what's going on in Ethiopia. They've got all the kind of turmoil going on over there. It talks more about it. It talks about Uganda as well. We know Burundi, etc., etc. This is the Georgian Minister of Education and Science. These are just some of the things, this is the actual post from Charles. I think this is with Ethiopia, the MOE, which is typically what people, it's like the entry. It's what you do before you actually sign a deal, if you will. The next part of the thread after the partnerships is to telecoms. Once millions, tens/hundreds are brought online, they'll be only a few taps away from opening DeFi savings account, receiving remittances, etc., etc. And it goes into World Mobile, Boost Mobile, and Dish. We knew and we found out about Boost Mobile and Dish, which is a largely overlooked partnership because on both ends, it's really going to revolutionize what Dish Mobile are doing and what Boost Mobile are doing, and also bring people into the Cardano ecosystem. And World Mobile, this is, when we talk about blockchain and people using it, DeFi is very well suited to Africa, and it's a lot more substantial than I think people give credibility for. People go, okay, well, and Africa is the poorest continent in the world. People like to say it's actually Antarctica. Very funny. But these people are the ones that are really going to use and benefit the most from DeFi. And this is where we're going to see real world adoption come. These people use the Cardano blockchain. And it's not just like they're just in Africa, they're global. IOHK, Cardano is a global movement. Africa is just one place where it's obviously very dear to Charles and the team. And it's for a reason. It's very strategic what they're doing in Africa. And it goes in to show you some of the articles. World Mobile bringing Zanzibar's online through mobile network built on a blockchain, etc., etc. So we'll move on to the next thread, which is supply chains. It talks about one of the kind of scandals that happened in China with the milk scandal. I know all about this. This is a very interesting thread. It's just another use case for Cardano, basically, and another step in the right direction. By real users, I mean people that need crypto for more than just speculation. This is Africa, and this is, billions of people are unbanked, unconnected, and over the next decade, they'll adopt crypto in every facet of their lives: payments, finance, identity, provenance, gaming, social, and media. This is the real value proposition with crypto. We are very early in terms of adoption, in terms of it being used. It's all coming, and you are early today in adopting, in purchasing and holding these technologies that are going to play a big role in the future. And Cardano is very well positioned to do so. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in this thread, where he talks about how regulatory onslaught is coming and how Cardano with Prism is very well positioned to implement KYC if needed into their blockchain to keep up to date with regulations and actually be a blockchain that can, instead of in some countries like the US, for example, working against them, work with them and allow the adoption to take place there. So developing nations are likely to leapfrog the US, EU, etc. in crypto tech. There simply isn't enough appetite in development in developed nations. Yeah, because they've already got this sort of traditional financial system that is in the way. Financial/online infra is good enough and censorship isn't bad enough to justify mass adoption of DeFi on social media. That was what they'd have you to believe. It's a lot worse than I think people give it credence for. You guys know that I like people like John McAfee and other people like that preached about this, and it's very bad what's going on, and there is absolutely a need for it, but the need for it, in a safe way. And what I mean by that is there has to be some kind of DeFi is a mess at the moment. Obviously not on Cardano. We're going to see how that, we are going to have our own share of problems, but if you look at the hacks that have taken place, you look at the rug pulls, etc., it's not great. So there is going to need to be some sort of a, not governing body, and the governance can actually be done on chain. And this is the most revolutionary thing about blockchain, is it's done on chain by the people, not one centralized group of individuals. This Cardano's approach, methodical research to build the best, most secure, scalable, decentralized base layer, pursuing sustainable real-world development, while slower initially, appears to be much smarter on looking 5 to 10 years ahead. Colossal Cardano community, and this talks about the social aspect. So we've seen every metric of Cardano grow. Social is just one. We'll get into the on-chain in a second, then we'll listen to Charles. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but this is a very comprehensive and interesting thread, and hopefully you guys are starting to understand why it is I'm hanging on to my Cardano, and then you guys can maybe make a decision for yourselves, because I know I'm right here with you holding, guys. I mean, during this time period, Cardano's down from the top 50+%. I've had some altcoins recently that have halved in a couple of days. This is crypto, very volatile, very new, and very high beta. In the world of smart contract platforms, Cardano's community is second to only Ethereum, except growing faster, and we're seeing that. Twitter, Reddit, Telegram, Discord, etc. Cardano orbit is inescapable. You can see here you've got Ethereum, you've got Cardano. Ethereum had a huge first mover advantage. It's been around longer than Cardano. We know that Charles actually worked on Ethereum with people like Gavin Wood, etc., etc. And you can see every metric is growing. Stake pools, the actual social media channels, the official social media channels are gaining following, etc., etc. Not impressed by the social media metrics. How about Cardano's on-chain ascent? Total ADA wallets, 200k to 2.4 million. New ADA wallets, daily 3k to 10k. Total transactions, 5.6 million to 22.4 million. Daily transaction, 30k to 50k to now 80k to 200. So you can see that we're growing, and we spoke to you about the on-chain metrics and how these are all pointing in the right direction. You can see that we're moving in the right direction across the board. Delegated wallets, 110k to over 1 million. And this is certainly a recent announcement. Average ADA per delegated wallet went from 190k to 24k. This shows that Cardano is for the people. It's not just whales that control the supply of Cardano. Of course, there is an element of that in everything. It's decentralized. Anybody can buy Cardano. It doesn't take, anybody could step in and become a whale, essentially, if they had the capital. And there's no kind of moving away from that. But what there is real proof that we are very decentralized via holders, via nodes, etc., etc. We're a very decentralized blockchain. Percent of ADA wallets staking went from 55% down to 40%. Shows Cardano isn't just a staking chain. And when we have DeFi, we've gone continuously up in terms of staked Cardano. Remember, guys, we do have the stake pool. ALLIN is the ticker. If you guys want to come and delegate to us, it'd be much appreciated. We're growing in delegators daily despite all the ISPOs going on. And I think when they finish, we'll be well into the 2 million Cardano within the pool. Currently, we have just shy, I think, 20 ADA shy of 900,000. So we are minting frequently. So if you guys want to come and join, head over. But if we take a look at ADA Pool's homepage, you can see 71% of the overall supply is staked. So we're just growing and going from strength to strength. You can see the data here. So it's all backed up. For comparison, daily active addresses, Ethereum 500 to 800,000, Cardano 100 to 200,000 daily transactions, 1.1 mil to 1.4 mil, 80k to 200k. Hardly a insurmountable gap, especially at under 1% of global adoption of crypto. This is the value proposition. I'm going to keep mentioning it, that we're not an adopted tech yet. Nothing really is, and there's no one chain. Of course, chains are more adopted than others, but we're not an adopted technology yet, and this is all still to come. I believe crypto is the new thing, guys. I think it's a kindred to the internet when it came out and some of the stocks that came out of it, and I think you guys get the amazing opportunity to be a part of that. Let's go on. So it goes on about the CNFTs and the DeFi boom. There are far too many Cardano projects to keep up with. It talks about the DeFi. We've spoken a lot about DeFi. Remember, Cardano is where it's at today without DeFi. This is coming online. We're starting to see the first signs of life. We spoke about DEXs, Sunday swaps with their testnet. We spoke about ERC20 converters. We've spoken about many of the projects within the Cardano DeFi system. This is huge, guys. I mean, this is absolutely huge. This is around the corner. We're about to see that button get switched on. And it goes into a longer thread talking about the CNFTs. We've seen a great interest within CNFTs, etc., etc. And it goes on to some of the reasons why, we're going to see such a boom coming out of the DeFi space within Cardano wallets, payments, oracles, memes, Husky, etc., etc., etc. Infrastructure. Let's move on. And it goes on to launch pads. We're going to sort of speed through this. I know I've gone on for a while. ADA did a great thread on some of the first apps are here, and soon the floodgates are about to open. Here's an overview of just some of them. He covered quite a lot of the projects within there. I thought that was fantastic. Also consider possibility of global regulatory onslaught against crypto and DeFi with such large-scale development of self-sovereign identity, SSID, with a Tyler Prism. Cardano is better prepared than any other platform to deal with the potential crackdown. Absolutely. Project Catalyst, which is amazing, growing each round. With under 700 million ADA in the treasury, or over 700 million ADA in the treasury, even the crypto cash, even after the crypto crash, that's under 1 billion available to fund the future of Cardano. We're seeing these funding rounds just continue to explode. Extended UTXO markets and scaling. Cardano layer 1, the ultimate settling layer, and then it talks about Hydra and ZK rollups, etc. Such a bright future ahead of us. Not only that, we've had a very bright past. So this is all things that I'm exceptionally interested in. These are the reasons, goes into Marlow, why I'm holding. Now let's very quickly hear from Charles before we wrap the video up.
Going to that
and then I will leave you guys to your Thursdays.
Deal with as a project. So you just have to kind of shut out the noise and just keep your nose down and push forward. And that's where we're at. The good news is every single metric you can measure about the health of Cardano from January 1st, 2020 to what we're going to close out the year, December 31st, 2021. Every metric over the last 24 months has been just absolutely exceptional, from the amount of ADA staked to the amount of active users, to the Catalyst participation, to the social signals, to account creation on Reddit, Telegram, and other things, to the actual transaction volume on Cardano, the growth of use and utility of Cardano, the DApp ecosystem that's fermenting for Cardano, even venture capital investment. Every metric you can measure, meaningful or otherwise, has improved. It's not a single one that hasn't. So that's something that when you pay attention to all the noise, you don't sometimes see. But when you silence that noise, you cancel it out, you actually look at reality as it sits, it's quite impressive to see how much that's grown. And the other thing is that when we look to 2022, many of the hard problems that all of the competing chains are really tackling with and understanding how difficult they are, we've already solved those as an ecosystem. We know where interoperability is going to come. We know how to spin up high-performance sidechains. We understand how to pipeline and how to introduce input endorsers, which gets us the same type.
You get the message, guys. We're looking good. The only thing that isn't is the price, but the price will come, guys, and these are some of the reasons why I'm hanging on. Some, not all, the reasons I'm holding on to my ADA. So hopefully that's been informative and you found that useful. Remember, this guy's Twitter is SOBIZR. Very interesting feed. I have indeed retweeted it on my Twitter for those of you who want to give it a read. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I will catch you in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching.